All right. What we're looking at here is a very simple implementation of a stack in C that was done by Code Vault in a tutorial he did about stacks. And I thought it might be fun to refactor this code. And it should be noted that this isn't my way of saying his code was garbage. Just take it for what it is. It's just a fun practice and an exercise in refactoring on something very simple. So let's go see what we can do. All right, so basically what I want to start with is to see that this code compiles and runs as it is. Now, it should run anyway, even though I got 2 warnings. I'll deal with those in a second. So let's see that it runs. Yes, it does. All right, so let's deal with the first 2 warnings. If we go back to, well, we don't, but they were to do with the main function, and we're just going to get rid of those unused parameters and make it a void. So there we go. Now we're going to compile and run and see that everything is good. Okay, so, oh, yeah, I forgot. Actually, got to write to disk. There we go. It compiles, and let's run it. And it still runs. All right. So we've got it compiling cleanly, and it runs as it should. So let's start from the top, and we'll work our way down, fixing issues as they come along. All right. So what I see here is we have the 3 includes at the top, but really we only need 1, and that's standard io.h. These other 2 can be gone, so I'm going to get rid of them. Now we're going to compile. And we're good there. And we're still good. Okay, so the next thing we have is this stack. And it's got a magic number. Basically, because it's kind of a toy program, I mean, it really doesn't matter, but he made this int variable, 256 elements. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a define here, and I'm going to get rid of that magic number. We'll still keep the 256 value because it's completely arbitrary. And then we're going to just replace those two spots. So that should work. Let's see if it compiles. Yes, it does, and it should also run the same. So, and it does. All right. Now, the next thing that I want to deal with is this. So, count is basically your stack position counter, and it's fine, I suppose. It's not that confusing, but I prefer personally to think of it as the top of the stack. So I'm actually going to change that to the name top. So, and then we're going to have to find every instance of count and do that. So let's see here. And while I'm here, I'm just going to put a little punctuation on that. Top. Top. And down here. Keep everything consistent there. Yeah, we're good. There, I think that's good. It replaces all the instances of count, and we should be able to run our code. And it's still good. So then the next thing is we've got these two sections here in the two functions. You see that he's got a commented section where he could have made each of them a one-liner, but he chose to do multiple lines for the sake of simplicity. And I think there's no shame in that, adding clarity to your code. However, I think in this case, a one-liner is fine because it's fairly self-evident as to what the code does. And to be honest, I think it's more idiomatic in terms of C. So let's turn these two lines into a one-liner. So we're basically going to evaluate stack top, place the value of x into that element, and then increment the value of top. Okay, so everything's still working. So next we're going to make this here, these three lines, into a one-liner. Now, the way he would have made it a one-liner is kind of awkward, in my opinion, because he goes count minus 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 1. Yeah, there's not much I can say about that. I'll just do something a little different. I think it's a little more compact, and maybe you don't have to look as hard at it. So this is where I would differ. I go a prefix decrement operator. And that's it, just like that. So you can see on the left side what we had, and now we're just doing it in one line. Alright, so we're still running nice, still compiling, running. Okay, so here I'd like to make a change. The output right now goes all in one line. I'd like to have one number per line, so we're going to change this to something like that. Didn't type that in right. There we go. Alright, so we got everything on its own line. And you'll note that we have the messages, nothing to take from the stack, and then it returns -1. And the reason for that is fairly simple to see. We've gotten into an off by 1 error in its for loop. So we could go ahead and just change this to, say, 4. If we do that and compile and run, oh, that was a mistake. Hang on. Try this again. Okay, now this should work out better. Yeah, that's a lot better. So it doesn't get into that condition where there's nothing left to take from the stack, nothing left to pop off, and we also have the proper output then, or the expected output, just the 4 elements that we pushed on. But I think we can do this even better. So I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to use a while loop. And the way I'm going to do it is this. I'm going to say while top, and that should work. And there we go. I think that's a lot cleaner than the for loop in this case. And you know, with the for loop, you've got the magic number that has to be the count of how many times you pushed onto the stack, and you could certainly have a push counter that's incremented each time, but in this case I think it's fair and safe to just use a while loop, and while the number is not 0, as it decrements, it does the statement again. All right.